FLM, wide open thinking, world-class work, and far-reaching results. Now with locations in Minneapolis, Columbus, Indianapolis, and Washington, D.C. A strategic marketing and communications company dedicated to serving clients who specialize in the business of agriculture and the life of rural communities.
Thank you for joining us for our Agri-Pulse Washington Week in Review. I'm Spencer Chase, joined as always by Agri-Pulse Senior Editor Phil Brasher, discussing the week that was, agriculturally speaking, in Washington, D.C. And this week was the first week. The 115th Congress is officially now in session. New lawmakers came to town, were sworn in. Joe Biden was doing Joe Biden things over on the Senate side, and it was quite a week in that regard. But agriculturally speaking, the news.
If you haven't seen the Biden video, you got to
go watch it. Yeah. After you're done watching ours, of course.
That's right.
But agriculturally speaking, the news is a little bit limited, but there's still a lot of things with a lot of far-reaching ramifications. First one being, Phil, here we sit in the first week of January, still no Ag Secretary.
Yeah, boy, you have to go back to the New Deal. Some of our colleagues have gone back and dug up the history to find a period when it took this long for a new president, a president-elect, to name an Ag Secretary. We went a long time where it looked like they were focused on getting a woman or Hispanic, particularly Hispanic, especially last week. Now the focus has shifted back to the former governor of Georgia, Sonny Perdue. We could have an announcement any time, but we continue to wait. Depends on who it is, how long it takes to do the vetting and get the confirmation hearing going. Obviously, the Senate Agriculture Committee, both of the agriculture committees on both sides of the Hill want to get the team in place at USDA because they want to get to work on a farm bill.
So speculation abounds at this point in terms of a timeline and a person who it's going to be. Moral of the story is we don't have an official announcement from the transition team right now, so not a whole lot we can give you in terms of an actual concrete bit of information. But as Phil mentioned, a lot of things on the horizon. Could have an announcement tomorrow, could have an announcement a few days from now. I mean, who really knows at this point?
Stay with us at Agri-Pulse.
Yeah. But a name that we do have that is going to be very important to agriculture here in the Trump administration is Trump's pick to lead the Environmental Protection Agency, Scott Pruitt, the Attorney General from Oklahoma. And Attorney General Pruitt was on Capitol Hill this week for meet and greets with a wide variety of Senate lawmakers. Of course, the Senate will have to confirm Pruitt before he can actually serve as EPA administrator. And Phil, kind of a lot of Midwest base to the folks that he was meeting to, really trying to maybe discuss the RFS and biofuels.
Yeah. They want to put pressure on him. They want to make sure that he sticks with the president-elect's promises and doesn't attempt to roll back the renewable fuel standard. Obviously, there are other issues that Spencer, you reported on a lot in terms with the implementation of the RFS. As much as anything that would the industry would like to see the RFS implementation, the policy stay with where the Obama administration has been, of course, with also pushing the volume requirements as high as possible. So this is the chance for senators from the Midwest, from ethanol and biodiesel producing states to get their concerns directly to Mr. Pruitt, Attorney General of Oklahoma, and he will. It's going to his confirmation is a tough fight. Republicans think they can get him as well as the president's other nominees across the finish line, but he is critical to one of the most important aspects of Trump's agenda, and that is to roll back regulations, particularly on the energy industry, but also agriculture.
Right, so that'll be important to watch as we go forward in terms of how Scott Pruitt is received on Capitol Hill, particularly with key Senate lawmakers with the Environment and Public Works Committee. There's going to be a lot of oversight there in terms of his confirmation, things of that nature. And speaking of committees, we want to wrap up with kind of a few tidbits here and there about committee rollouts here for the 115th Congress. Don't have complete complete rosters as of yet, but a few moving parts. We do know that Chris Van Hollen, the new senator from Maryland, is going to be on the Senate Agriculture Committee, as will be Jeff Sessions. However, briefly, his process takes to be confirmed, potentially be confirmed as the new Attorney General. Steve Daines from Montana moving to Senate Agriculture Committee. We also have Joni Ernst from Iowa getting a seat on Environment and Public Works Committee. And on the House side, really things are a little bit fuzzier there, but we do know that Dan Newhouse, a state agriculture director, former state agriculture director, from the state of Washington, has secured a spot on the House Appropriations Committee. He does serve on Agriculture and Rules. Don't know where he stands on those two committees quite yet, but still waiting on some firm names for the House Agriculture Committee for sure. Senate, we have a little bit of a better idea, but committee reshuffling is definitely abound here at the start of the 115th Congress.
Yeah, and some of those non-ag committee assignments are interesting. Like you mentioned, Joni Ernst from Iowa going to Environment and Public Works. That's the committee that will do the confirmation hearing for Scott Pruitt at the EPA. That committee oversees EPA, the Clean Water Act, the Clean Air Act, and the Renewable Fuel Standard. So those, she is one of several ag state members on that committee. It's increasing its.
And that committee has new leadership as well.
Right, John Brasher from Wyoming. Strong supporter of coal and the energy industry, and has been a very strong critic of the Waters of the U.S. rule for several years now.
Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see how the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee shapes itself here in the 115th Congress with new membership, new leadership, things of that nature. And we'll be sure to keep you up to date on information of that committee and many others here on Capitol Hill and at Department of Agriculture and all the other things that we cover here at Agri-Pulse Communications. But I think that's going to do it for this week's news. For Phil Brasher, I'm Spencer Chase. Have a good one.